I don't think that there is going to be any pivot in any meaningful sense. I mean, this is Donald Trump's signature issue. And I remember during the primaries, remember there was an off-the-record meeting with the New York Times editorial board for half the primaries. I kept hearing that Trump was flexible on a wall. He's not flexible on a wall. If there's one thing we're going to get out of a Trump presidency, it's a wall.
If he was flexible, if it was this to-be-determined answer that we've gotten from Kellyanne Conway over the last several days, is that a problem? His election is over if he were flexible on the whole plan. But she was answering only on the, deportation force, which was always sort of amorphous anyway. What is very clear is we get a wall. ICE can do its job. Reduction on Muslim immigration, and probably a reduction on immigration overall. I mean, that's what his immigration policy paper said. We need a pause, a moratorium.
What do you think the chances are that any of this actually happens? Meaning that
he's president?
No, that he gets elected at this point.
No, I think it's more likely than not.
Even given the polls?
Yeah.
Because?
I've just always thought that.
Just this is a gut.
I mean, look, I thought it was 90% he'd win the primary, 60% he'd win the election, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I think he should
before
win.
Anybody else really came out and called that. You were saying that.
Thank you. Yes, I did. So you should hang on my every word now. But I think it's more likely than not. We have a lot of time to go. And why? Because of his three main issues: immigration, ending the job-killing trade deals, and, ending these endless, pointless wars in the Middle East. I think those are very popular policies. And as I say in my book, which I'm very sorry you guys don't have, I'll get some copies sent off so I can come back in a few weeks and we can discuss it more fully. Nobody says about Trump, I'm voting for this guy, but I don't really like his issues. I just like his personality. No, it's not his personality. You don't look around the country and think we need a reality TV star in the White House. It is his issues, and they're issues that both political parties.
In the last 24 hours, nothing that's come out about Hillary Clinton would indicate that maybe this is going to be fluid for the next 78 days in terms of, I mean, Trump had those 2 weeks.
You mean on the foundation?
On Trump,
the foundation's not new.
A lot of this is new. The 15,000 emails where she said that absolutely they had all been released. That was not true.
But whoever the Democrat is.
So the stuff that Trump said that came out of his mouth, is that much more defining than what Hillary Clinton has done over the years?
But Anne, you're making a point that it's not about the personality. You're saying it's
right.
the issues.
I mean, I think she's not a good candidate, but whomever the Democrat is, if it had been other than Sanders, he could have thrown things open a little, because at least pre-becoming a Democrat, a lot of his issues were the same as Trump's issues.
What are
protecting
the polls really
American
right now?
Do you want to see him tone it down personality-wise and stick to the issues?
Well, I like what he's been doing, and it's been good enough that the media isn't showing it. They keep paraphrasing. You don't need to see what he said. We'll tell you what he said. But the speeches he's been giving basically for the past month, I can just tell the viewers, look at the speeches. They've been unbelievable. They're fantastic, which is why the media is not showing
Hold on, but do you want him doing the teleprompter version of Donald Trump or the off
my personal preference is that crazy stand-up comedian extemporaneous.
And you think that works? But you think that...
No, I don't think that works. I said it was my personal preference. No, I like what he's been doing. And he's been giving magnificent, beautiful, perfect speeches, which are, I mean, it's not like it's a new person. They're all of his positions. It's just that he stays on topic and there's some sort of, logical progression when he's reading off the teleprompter. When he's just doing that thing where he's doing stand-up, the points are the same. I think it's hilarious, but no, to look presidential, he probably should be sticking to the teleprompter.
But that's the question. Does he need...
In this case, I was going. They had Breitbart had a book party for Trump We Trust last night.
Right.
And I was on my way there in an Uber car, and the Uber driver said, "Do you mind if I listen to the news?" And the whole thing is apparently CNN, I found out, with them all talking about Breitbart being this racist organization, and they're all racist, and they're racist. And I said, "What are you listening to?" And then told him, he was a black cab driver, or the Uber driver, and I said, "You are taking me to a party at this right at this horrible racist," because I'm bursting out laughing at all this, and I invited him to come to the party so we could see all the scary racists there. No, it's because Breitbart put out Clinton Cash, which has been watched by more than 3 million people online. I mean, it's been acknowledged by Washington Post, New York Times as absolutely devastating, because it very clearly lays out the whole pay-for-play Clinton Foundation scam, where they take money, Hillary does a favor as Secretary of State, and then, weirdly, Bill Clinton gets hired to give a speech for $600,000. I mean, it's just so utterly, obviously corrupt, like everything else.
And the media's corrupt. And, you know, you actually outlined in one of your earlier books, and I remember we interviewed you about that. You know, let's play her mentor. This is her mentor, Robert, the former Klansman Byrd. This is him.
There are white. I've seen a lot of white in my time. I'm going to use that word. But we just need to work together to make our country a better country.
That's her mentor.
I'd say Donald Trump's attack is much better and much more devastating, and that is the Democrats and Hillary Clinton see African Americans only as voters. They don't care about, the Democrats don't care about your lives or your jobs. Immigration and a border wall is the great unifier. Trump promises to put Americans first, to protect their neighborhoods, but most of all to bring jobs back, to end these job-killing trade deals. He's the first person to ever come along and say, maybe we should care about just emptying out the manufacturing base of America and to stop dumping low-wage workers on the country. I mean, that is the big issue he has.
We have 95 million Americans out of the labor force right now. 1 in 5 American families don't have one person in their family working. So 11 million illegals, more coming every day, competing for fewer jobs, driving down wages. Who has been disproportionately impacted? What demographic group more than any other?
Right. No,
Black Americans.
And Carol Swain, a wonderful professor at Vanderbilt, has documented this over and over again. It is African Americans who are hurt the most by our current immigration policies, which is why I'm so annoyed by the plutocrats and the rich and the elites who get their, you know, their cheap nannies and chefs and chauffeurs and strut around like they're Martin Luther King. No, the compassionate policy is to be compassionate toward Americans. And nobody has talked about Americans until Donald Trump came along and didn't need the donors, so he wasn't being bossed around by campaign consultants, though it sounds as if some campaign consultant has slipped into his campaign, and I don't think he should have been hiring, you know, Rubio's speechwriter for his interview with you, giving all these ridiculous talking points for amnesty. And to speak to that, for one thing, the mainstream media, I've criticized Trump before. I'm not some, you know, Clinton cultist or a Cruz cultist. He's my guy, but I give him constructive criticism. And every time I do this, the media makes this huge big deal of, you know, Coulter tiring of Donald Trump. It was a joke when I said this was going to be the shortest book tour ever. It's called a joke. But I do think, because simultaneously with his interview with you, where he said some very dumb things, oh well, he's giving these spectacular speeches in Fredericksburg, Virginia, in Tampa, Florida. They're completely the opposite. He's going back to saying, I'm going to put Americans
People
first.
misinterpreted a lot of what we discussed yesterday. What he did was survey the crowd, and then he kept reinforcing, enforce the law.
Well,
that's what he said again and again and again.
And he does keep saying he will put Americans first. If he puts Americans first, then all that nonsense someone told him to say about, and they'll pay back taxes. Okay, little pro tip, back taxes for they're not making enough money to pay